Now that you have an overview of the desktop, we're going to go ahead and begin designing. So the first thing I want to do is add my color palette. So to add a color palette, you first have to have something on your blank canvas. So we're in Elements under Shapes right now, and I'm just going to go ahead and select this circle right here by clicking on it, and it adds it just in the standard yellow color. So while that's selected, if I go up here, I can pick a color. And I've already added our 3 main colors to this document, but I'm going to actually add one more to help give us a little more variety. So if you hit plus, you can go here and you can type a new hex code. So we're adding another lavender color to help give us a little more variety and depth. And if I hit enter, it now adds it to our color palette. So this is our color palette that we'll be working with for this tutorial. And I went ahead and I created some designs. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be working towards. So if I go over here, this is what I call the blank canvas. This means everything I need, the text I'm going to use, all of the color palettes and the logo, I keep on one document. And then I pull from there and then I place it on the other actual graphic. So this is not a graphic. This is just our beginning canvas that I can pull things from. So these are the graphics that we're going to be creating. I'm calling her brand Single in the City. I'm saying that her tagline is nutritious advice, delicious food, independent woman. Okay, and so these are the graphics that we're going to be working towards. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're first going to set up this blank canvas. All right, so I'm going to delete the circle because we don't need it. The first thing we're going to do is create our logo. So if we go over to text, I scrolled down until I found something that kind of worked for our needs. And what I decided to use for this tutorial is this one that says espresso shot. So I'm going to click on it and it pulls up right in the center of the canvas. And the first thing we want to do is get rid of this text here. So because this is a pre-made image, I can't really delete those icons, but I can hit space and that's going to clear them so we can't see them. So I'm going to select this and clear it. Now, if I go into espresso shot, I want this text to be bigger, but Canva doesn't really allow me to get it the size that I want. So with this, I am also going to select all and hit space to delete it. And while this is still selected, I am going to choose one of our colors. For now, let's just say this one. It can really be any of them. Select that again. Clicking out, click back in, go back up to color, select that. And I knew, and I'll show you just so you can see for yourself, I knew that when I clicked on this, this was Yellowtail font. So we're going to go ahead and make our own font based off of that. So I'll scroll back up to the top of text. I'll click add heading. And in here, I will type single, if I can type, single girl in the kitchen. Okay, so I'm going to select all and I'm going to be scrolling down until I find Yellowtail. Now the one thing with Canva is if I were to hit C or if I were to hit Y to go down to Yellowtail, it doesn't bring down the font. It just changes my box here, but I can hit Control or Command Z to undo that and it goes back. And so I have to scroll all the way down to Yellowtail until I find it. And of course it's going to be at the very end because it's a Y. So scroll, scroll, scroll. There's Yellowtail. And actually I'm calling it Single in the Kitchen, not Single Girl. So Single in the Kitchen. And now we are going to make that bigger. So let's play around with some sizes here. Let's try 72. Let's see what 80 looks like. Let's try 80. And let's kind of center that using the guidelines here in Canva. Okay, that's centered. And then we're going to go here to this colored icon and we're going to select this. So again, we're just creating the kind of workspace for us to work with. So that's our logo, really simple, and it speaks to the font choices and the styles that we talked about in her concept. So now that that's done, I just like to have a color palette for visuals. So we'll go back to circle and I will hold this down and drag it to get a circle, and we'll drag it this way, and then I'm going to do Command or Control copy, and we're going to copy it and we're going to keep it lined up using the guides. Now I'm going to select both of them and copy them just to save us a little time, and get those lined up. Now we'll go through and we'll add our palette. So we'll just go like this, add our palette, and our last color. Now the last thing we need to do for our canvas, our brand canvas, is to add the text. And remember how I mentioned before that it's all about contrast. It's all about the contrasting text. So this is more of a script / hand font, and we want something that is going to be juxtaposed to that. So I'm going to click heading, and what I'm going to type here is her tagline, which I believe was nutritious advice, delicious food, and independent woman. We'll say woman plural. Okay, and we'll move that up, and we're going to select all. We're just going to make that a little bit smaller for the moment. And the font I decided to use for that is called Oswald. So again, we have to scroll down. We can't hit O. It's not going to navigate us to it. So Oswald, because it's a narrow text like we talked about before, but it's also sans serif. Okay, so that is our color palette. And actually, let's make this a part of our color palette. Let's do a contrasting color. We'll do navy. Okay. So now this is our brand canvas, and everything that we do from here on out is going to be based off of this.